obviously the name and all the licensing, and we'll own the intellectual property. We will own the patent.
Now, can this product be made in such a way that it can be a foundation for soy cooking?
Yes.
Really? That's long term? Or
In our five-year plan, we actually have, our second product.
Yes.
Yeah, our second product, we're looking to launch in 2013, would actually be able to, it would be a product additive. So, yeah, it could be a fortifier type of product. Yes, ma'am.
You talk about childhood nutrition, and my big concern is childhood obesity. What exactly, I understand there's, you have a lot of protein, but what about, the carbohydrates and the fat content? Because
Yeah, it's based on, because the gentleman establishing the guidelines for the the RDA guidelines for the U.S. Obviously he's very aware, and he's the one who's doing the lead research on this. So it would fall within, it would be a third of the nutrients that would be required, whether it be fat, whether it be protein, whether it be carbohydrates. It's not going to be carbohydrate dense, because I know the carbs are also one of the products in soybeans that can cause the GI distress, and this will have no GI distress at all.
And have you tried, with Mrs. Obama's pledge against childhood obesity?
Yes, move it.
You keep moving.
Keep it moving. There we go.
Yeah, I'm sure there's got to be some seed money there somewhere for a product like this.
There is. Part of our challenge has been, and I'm sure all business owners understand, is that I'm one person at this point, and I'm really trying to source some things out to the best that I can, leveraging some partnerships and friendships and, family ties. And so, yeah, absolutely. That is definitely a direction in which we plan to go. We've found that for a lot of the food aid organizations and for a lot of the USDA programs, which is what all of the nutritional programs fall under, a lot of them require you to be a nonprofit. And so that's where we originally went with our nonprofit status. We were a total humanitarian organization. But really, for us to move forward and be able to create the products as quickly as we wanted to create, we didn't want to wait 2 years to get 501c3 status, and then, because that's been difficult. Our first round, we got denied, so I said, okay, I'm going to hold that because we're already moving on with the for-profit business plan. It's very difficult to do. I'm absolutely, that's absolutely one portion of our plan, and our nonprofit is definitely still on the sidetrack, but it's not our main focus right now. There are free hands.
I was just curious if you used any resources like SBA, SCORE, or different chambers, and what did you get out of those organizations in helping develop your business?
SCORE is phenomenal. I've been hooked up with a retired C-level manufacturing executive who's helped me with some portions of the business plan. Absolutely. It's a resource that, in my opinion, is not tapped enough. SBA is okay. I found, just at least in my dealings, the SBA is a little cumbersome and a little intimidating to me in trying to really just sift through the programs that they have. The SBA is where they're really great, though, is when you go to an event where there are SBA representatives and you get a one-on-one conversation. They've given me some great resources in person. And I think if you really, if you don't do all of your research online, and if you really do try to make some of those initial, person-to-person connections, it can be incredibly useful. So, yeah, they've given me some good information.
I'm sure maybe I missed it, but I'm not sure. Are you thinking about retail, or is it just mainly working with schools?
Retail is certainly an avenue that we're thinking about, especially like gourmet retail, because Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, those types of places. We've done some sampling and some focus group, some surveys and things like that, and we realized that people are willing to pay a little bit more for that particular market. They're willing to pay more for a higher more nutritious product, and so it's kind of a balancing act between it's really difficult for us to put our plan into those markets right now because we are so focused on child nutrition. And we really want to get the product out into the market that really needs it right now. And when you think about all the funding that's available for child nutrition, this is the market we want to be in front of. You know, and it's not so much, you know, making as many dollars, but really getting the product to as many kids as we can. And yeah, is there a profit? Absolutely. But, you know, we're not looking to, you know, do a 300% increase right now.
What you think of being in these retail stores like Whole Foods and even Trader Joe's and the health food stores will give you a platform to get that reach?
Sure, and I know that there's I actually had done some research on one nut butter company that had, I think it was Whole Foods that they had gotten a partnership with, and they were willing to pay for a piece of manufacturing equipment and things like that. Absolutely. We need to get our check from the Economic Development Office first and give that over to the researcher who will then give us some missing information in our business plan. And once we do that, it's really going to be a matter of just ramping things up. But it's, you know, everyone tells me, well, how's the process? Yeah, I wish I could tell you the exact process. I can't. I can tell you a lot about it. But, you know, I mean, he's done a lot of work for money that he's been promised, and so until he gets that money, obviously, he's not going to deliver that information.
Two questions. One really quick and then one a little longer. Really quick, how much money are you looking to raise?
Our initial round is for about $200,000, and most of that will cover manufacturing equipment, and it'll get a small pilot off the ground. That's not for our first year of ramping up production. I'm actually still working those numbers out, but I do know the initial funding is going to be about $200,000.
The second question is, have you found in doing your fundraising that potential funders are looking at you differently because you're coming in with a social mission as opposed to sort of a more hard-edge business venture?
No, but I will tell you one of the most valuable tools that I can give all of you right here is when we got the approval from the Economic Development Office, it just basically put an accredited check next to our name. That gave us so much more leverage. I mean, in fact, 2 investors followed me out of that approval meeting to actually talk with venture capitalists. So that was one of the things that helped a lot. And so I think one of the pieces that you can take from here is if you can at all get some sort of either government or you know, some sort of organization behind you, I think that really helps, because then you're not out there yourself trying to make someone see that you're viable or that, you know, that it's something that's a feasible concept. You have someone else behind you saying, yeah, this can work.
Any more questions? All right, we have time for one last question here. Okay, is this a Main Street product or not?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you see this in the
Absolutely.
future as being something that is...
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I absolutely do. I would say, you know, for right now, our business plan is not put into play where we're going to necessarily try to go into some of the retail outlets. That doesn't mean that we won't entertain them and see if they work. It just means that for our business plan, we had to get really focused and have our go-to market strategy, our complete path to revenue. This is our path to revenue. Business plans will always change, but you know, in starting off, this is where we're headed. But absolutely it is, because this is something that can, you know, retailers are going to look for something like this. They don't have to, you know, every 30 to 90 days, they don't have to, you know, shift it around on their shelves. It can stay there for 2 years.
Great. Well, Deb, thank you so much for coming by tonight. We're going to invite you back because we want to revisit in the next few months about where your progress is going in here. Where can we find out about you?
www.delsoy.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and she'll be around afterwards if you have some other questions.
Flyers and cards on the table right up here.
Okay, terrific, terrific.
We're also on Twitter and Facebook.
All right.
Oh,
We're
Deb,
Delsoy
what's
1
your
on
handle?
Twitter. Delsoy1 on Twitter. Facebook is Delsoy. Also, you know, Deborah Elkins' Pace is where you find a lot of the mainstream stuff about me personally.
All right, good luck to you, and
Thank
we'll
you.
be behind you. Thank you so much
Thank
for coming.